Well, good morning. It's morning here. I just wanted to highlight a little situation that we see from time to time. And so if you have an area around your sprinkler valves that's constantly wet, maybe you can't necessarily see the water coming off the valve or something like that, but it just seems like it's constantly wet. This is something you want to keep an eye on. Unfortunately, it's probably one of the worst situations you can have is the type of repair that may be needed. So it's called a manifold leak. I want to show you what we have going on here. So this is what happens when one T cracks. Now, sometimes there's enough room to replace just that part, and a lot of times that might be the what you try to do. But if you can see back here, those fittings are so close together, you wouldn't be able to cut one out and replace it properly. So a lot of times what ends up having to happen is it all gets replaced. And then in a situation like that, it just makes sense to put in new valves with it. So unfortunately, this can be the worst case situation. Something like this, we charge anywhere from $600 up to $15 or so, maybe even a little more if it is if there's roots around and so forth. Again, we try to always do the valves because oftentimes they're older and it just makes sense to replace everything with it. So again, worst case scenario is a manifold leak. Not always the problem if it's wet around the valves. Sometimes it's just the valves, but you do have to kind of dig it up and see if the water is coming from underneath. The manifold is a pipe that's constantly pressurized, and what will normally happen is one of those T connections will develop a crack. So there's not always a reason for it. Sometimes it's just age, sometimes it's roots, sometimes the valves start moving, who knows. But we do see this quite often, unfortunately, and if you find yourself in this situation, these are things to look for, and make sure if you're going to hire someone, make sure they know what they're doing. Oftentimes a repair is not possible and you do have to replace it all, otherwise you'll cause more problems down the line. So keep this in mind. I hope if you find yourself in this unfortunate situation, you're able to get it fixed quickly. Thanks for watching.